Hey everybody, it's Andy, aka Max Writer. Let's check my sound. Let's make sure that y'all can hear me. Yeah, alright. Things seems to be working fine. We are playing today Alone Against the Tide. Bum bum bum. This is currently is Chaosium's latest solo Call of Cthulhu scenario. It was published in let's see, 2020. Is that what I have listed? I have listed 2009. Yeah, no, 2020. Sweet. Um, and yeah, so we'll be starting this today. We'll be starting with character creation again. We already have a couple of pre-gens that they kept with it, with pictures. I love it. These are some awesome pictures too. They just look very sweet. I'm liking it very much. Male or female? Come on, focus. You're not gonna focus. I'm not gonna mess around with it. I have a terrible time unless it's mirrored, and even then, I have a pretty hard time with it. So, as I said, this is the last of Chaosium's. Currently, Chaosium's. Why is my phone buzzing at me? Nothing. This is the last of Chaosium's solo ones now. Alone Against the Static is supposed to come out in December. So that'll be pretty cool. Right now, Trooper SJP is running his 14-hour marathon. Go ahead and you might want to check him out as well. They're running Sandman from 1985, I believe. And I'm hating that I'm missing it, but I also wanted to play this today. So, this is available at chaosium.com. If you purchase the hard copy, you will also get a... Let's move this because it's making me freak out here. If you purchase a hard copy, you also get the PDF for free, which is very nice. Which is where I was able to print these guys without having to wreck this Perfect Bound, or I think that's what they're called. Very nice. It's got a very interesting, smooth cover here. But we're going to get started with an introduction here. Alone Against the Tide is a solo... Oh, let's slide this in. Oh, every time I bump this desk, I'm afraid it's going to just cause my computer to crash. Actually, we should wait till the music stops, shouldn't we? So, we're almost done with solitaire scenarios. Next week, well, it depends on how long it takes us to... stopped. Depends on how long it takes us to do this one, but we've got one more after this that I currently own, and then we have to wait for Alone Against the Tide to come out, or Alone Against the Static to come out. Alone Against the Tide is a solo adventure for the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Unlike a standard game of Call of Cthulhu, this adventure requires no keeper, as it is a solo scenario. In fact, you're both the keeper and the story's main character. You can take on the role of an investigator of your own design, if you prefer, one of the two ready-to-play investigators provided: Dr. Ellery Woods, page 80, or Dr. Eleanor Woods, page 78. We're going to start with Ellery Woods, and we're going to see how he does. Get that a little more centered. My phone is just blowing up for some reason. Depending on the investigator you play, your reasons for traveling to the quiet, affluent lakeside town in which the adventure is set may vary. The horrors your character experiences and how much of the mystery affects Esbury you manage to solve depends on your choice throughout the game. These choices not only affect what happens to your investigator, but also the other people you meet along the way. Yeah. I'm trying to keep my computer cool, so I got a fan going on down here. What is wrong with this thing? Okay. I think that's straight. I feel like I'm leaning. For all its scenic beauty and charm, Esbury is a dangerous place, and there is every chance that your investigator could die as the events of Alone Against the Tide unfold. Thankfully, though, you can attempt this scenario as many times as you want to. You can also choose a different investigator or create a new one each time you play to help you explore the various challenges and pathways the story has to offer. So what are you waiting for? Esbury's fate is in your hands. Preparing to start, you'll need the Call of Cthulhu Keeper Rulebook or Call of Cthulhu Starter Set. Okay, so you can use either one if you don't have the rulebook yet. I have my copy of 7th edition Call of Cthulhu Rulebook, my beater copy that is just torn up. If you intend to use either Dr. Ellery Woods or Dr. Eleanor Woods, copy or print out the relevant investigator sheets, which has been done. Read the Getting Started section on page 5. That's next. Which explains how the book is structured and how some of the rules work. Once you're done, you're ready to take on the challenges of Alone Against the Tide, starting on page 8. Before you can play, you will need a set of role-playing dice. Okay, we got those. A pencil and eraser. As mentioned in preparing for start, you will also need a copy of either the copy of Call of Cthulhu Keeper Rulebook or the Call of Cthulhu Starter Set and your investigator sheet. Boom, got it. I didn't print anything else out for this, so we might have to stop during it and do that, maybe. Um, this adventure is designed to lead you through the basic rules of character creation in Call of Cthulhu as you play. Entries 12 and 80. You'll be directed to them by the text once you start the scenario. This adventure is designed to lead you through the basic rules of character creation in Call of Cthulhu. Oh, okay. Of course, if you're using a pre-generated investigator, just ignore the comments in the text about creating a new character. Alright, fair enough. If you prefer not to create your own investigator, the male and female variant of the same ready-to-play character, Dr. E. Woods, is included at the end of the scenario. Note that only certain skills have already been allocated points. Right. We're 60 in anthropology, 70 in archaeology. Credit rating is 60. He is wealthy. Dodge is 50, which is well over half my dex. Okay. Fighting Brawl has been raised to 45. Firearms Handgun is 40. I do not have a weapon of... It doesn't look like. Tailored three-piece suit. Newsboy's cap. Thin briefcase containing a research manuscript. A change of underwear. And a few essential toiletries. Okay. He has got language other Arabic at 40. Language own English at 80. He's average strength, a little above average con, average size, a little above average dex, a little below average appearance. His education's 80, very high. Intelligence is high, and his power is 50. I wish the power was higher. Locksmith 50, Navigate 30, Persuade 40, Psychology 50, and Survival Desert 50. For Esbury? I wonder where the hell Esbury is. You have a pool of 70 bonus skill points to spend on any skills for Dr. Woods. This can include increasing those skills' already allocated points or choosing other skills to broaden them out Dr. Woods' abilities. Just add the bonus skill points, divide up however you wish, to the base skill values written next to the different skills on the investigator's sheet. For example, as Dr. Wood has no skill points in jump, its base value is 20, as written next to the skill on the investigator's sheet. If you allocate 10 of your skill points to jump, it becomes 30. Very well put. It's up to you to decide what skills to increase. As a guide, the following skills could be useful: Anthropology, Appraise, Archaeology, Charm. I need... Persuade's only at 40. Charm. I don't have anything in Fast Talk. Charm, Climb, Fast Talk, Fighting Brawl, Firearms, Handgun, Intimidate, Jump, Listen, Locksmith, Navigate, Persuade, Psychology, Spot Hidden, Stealth, Survival, and Swim. Okay, we got 70 points. I'm not going to bother with only 70 points. I'm not really going to bother with the calculator. Oh my God, there's a lot. Anthropology is already 60. They say Charm, Fast Talk, or Persuade. We're going to put 10 points each into Fighting Brawl and Firearms. So that's 20. That leaves us 50. Intimidate is one they picked as well. Persuade's already high. I think we'll make it 60. There's another 20 points gone. Because I could jack Charm up, but at the same time... Jump, Locksmith. Locksmith is 50. We're going to drop 20 points in that, make it a 70. I need to mark these off, the ones. And I got 10 points left. Navigate, Persuade, Psychology, Spot Hidden, Survival, and Swim. Stealth has nothing. We're going to make Stealth 30. And hope for the best. Okay. So we upped Fighting, Brawl, and Firearms. I probably should have upped Dodge. It's only 50%, but that's not on this list, and I want to kind of stick with this list. Allocate the 70 bonus points wherever you want to. Of course, you'll have to pick which skills you think you're going to be useful. That's part of the game. But you won't have enough skill points to always pass your skill rolls, but that's where luck points come in very handy. No, they don't. My luck is not on here. Huh. Luck's not marked on either of these character sheets. Alright, let's see. You can download variable PDF sheets for both variants of Dr. E. Woods from Alone Against the Tide page at Chaosium Inc. Oh, I wonder if I have that. Reading this book. There's not much here for the intro, so this should not take very long. I am still... I really wish I could raise up. Got this tiny cheap tripod, and I really wish I could raise it up so it was eye level. As this is a solo adventure, you don't read this book the same way that you would a standard role playing scenario. That is, you don't read it through from beginning to end. If you do, not only will will it be very confusing, but it will also spoil the surprises lying in wait for you. Another difference is that the book isn't split into chapters, but into separate entries. Each entry is numbered, and at the end can be found instructions for where to go and what to read next. You have to make a choice or attempt a skill roll to see what happens. Occasionally, you may be asked to record something on your investigator sheet that you'll need to refer to later in the game. If you reach the relevant entry, you'll be prompted where to go next based on what you wrote down. Don't carry these notes over to subsequent playthroughs. Each investigator must discover Esbury's secrets for themselves. Oh, dogs are going. They just zipped out. Let's take a look at Ellery Woods here. No damage bonus. Dodge is only 50. White man with heavily tanned skin, dark hair, brown eyes, and a short, neatly trimmed beard. Wears a newsboy's cap, which looks slightly at odds with his smartly tailored three-piece suit. I used to do that, wear a newsboy's cap everywhere. Ideology, beliefs. Fortune favors the prepared mind. Significant people. His old friends of the Boston Nine. Ellery may have left his days of crime behind him when he got his education, but you never really leave a gang. Oh, okay. Meaningful locations: Boston, the city he calls home. Treasure possessions: the research manuscript he's been working on for over a year now. Ellery hopes it will win him academic acclaim. And his quates are inquisitive and ambitious. He's got $300 in cash, 30 grand in the bank. His spending level is $50. Holy crap, $50. All right, so I don't have to worry about anything that costs less than $50. No weapons are listed here, and his luck is not. So we might have to roll his luck up, but we'll see. If we come to the point where we need to deal with luck, we'll deal with it then, or in the game. A note about the rules. Bonus and penalty dice. Depending on the situation, some entries instruct you to add either a bonus or penalty die to your roll. If you're awarded a bonus die, roll an extra tens die along with your usual percentile dice when making the skill roll, and take the best, lowest result. If you're assigned a penalty die, you also roll an additional tens die, but this time take the worst, highest result. For more on bonus penalty dice, see Call of Cthulhu Starter Set, Book 2, pages 14 and 15, or the Call of Cthulhu Keeper Rulebook, page 91. Combat. Combat in Alone Against the Night has been simplified so that there are no posed rolls. Oh, okay. If combat is an option, open your investigator. If combat is an option open to your investigator, the entry will tell you what skill roll to make and what level of difficulty is for that. What the level of difficulty is for that roll. Hard. This is very small print. Hard. Success only equal to or below half the skill's value, or extreme. Success equal to or below 1/5 the skill's value. If no difficulty level is stated, the roll is a regular one. Success at equal to or below the skill's value. Certain non-combat skill rolls may also have hard or extreme difficulty. For more on difficulty levels, see. And it's got the starter set and rulebook pages. Any damage your investigator suffers from taking part in combat is listed in the entry. Roll the damage die indicated to determine how many points they lose as a result of their injury. I have 11 hit points. That is not much, and 10 magic points. There are also some non-combat situations where your investigator may take damage again. There are also some where your investigator may take damage again. Roll the damage die indicated in the entry. If your investigator is reduced to 0 points as a result of the damage roll, the entry tells you what the outcome is. For the sake of simplicity, the major wound rules. Okay, there we go. Are not used in Alone Against the Tide. So we're not going to be getting knocked out. Unless dramatically appropriate. Using luck points. We recommend that you use the optional spending luck rule. When playing through, this is from Call of Cthulhu Rulebook 99. When playing through Alone Against the Tide, for those using the Call of Cthulhu Starter Set, this rule allows you to spend luck points to alter the result of a skill or characteristic rolls. You may alter the roll on a one-for-one basis, then you spent luck points deduced from your current luck total. For example, if your skill is 50 and you roll a 54, ordinarily you would fail the roll, but if you spend 4 luck points, you turn that failure into a success. You can't spend luck points to alter every roll, though. Damage rolls, luck rolls, sanity rolls, and rolls to determine the number of sanity points lost cannot be adjusted by spending luck points in this manner. To work out how much luck your investigator has, or at the end of the character creation, roll 3d6, then multiply the result by 5. Circle that number in the luck track on your investigator sheet. You will need to do this for Dr. Woods if you've chosen to play the character instead of creating your own investigator. Okay. 3d6. This is an important roll. And I really hope it's okay. Come on. Come on, dice. Do me right. Yeah! Oh, God. I rolled a 7. He has 35 luck points. His luck is 35. That is sad. A 1, a 5, and a 1. Damn it. I was hoping for something over 50, but while you may spend your investigator's luck points to succeed at a failed roll, skill or characteristic roll, there will be no opportunity to improve their luck score during their visit to Esbury. And be aware, they may be called upon to make a luck roll at some point during the adventure. So you should try to make the best use of your investigator's luck, shitty luck, um, that you can. Remember, a luck roll is based on your investigator's current luck score, not their starting one. Right. Insanity. Physical damage is not the only danger an investigator faces. Several encounters may challenge their sanity as well. In Alone Against the Tide, there are only two states of insanity, temporary and permanent. Treat any indefinite insanity results as temporary insanity. Yeah, so my indefinite is going to be, it's 1/5, so 10 out of 50. If your investigator goes temporarily insane, the entry will tell you what to do next. Follow these instructions rather than use the standard rules for a bout of madness. Cool. The scenario doesn't make use of phobias or manias, so ignore them. Should your investigator go permanently insane, reduced to 0 sanity points, they are out of the game. They either die in a manner appropriate to the situation that caused the permanent insanity, or they run off into the woods and hills around Esbury, never to be seen or heard from again. You may begin the adventure afresh, creating a new investigator to see if you can uncover more about the strange goings on in the benighted lakeshore town. So, if this guy dies or goes insane very quickly, then yes, we will set up Eleanor Woods, his sister, wife, cousin, whatever she is. We'll figure it out at that juncture. A note about the entries. This is the last little bit. The entries are numbered consecutively 1 to 243. All entries present information in the same way. The entry the entry number in large bold numerals. 2, details. Details describe the scene or briefly comment on the situation. 3, after that, the entry might instruct you to go to a certain entry or ask you to choose an action or roll a die which have different outcomes. 4, the parenthesized number or numbers at the end of each entry are trace numbers, showing the entries from which you have come in order to have arrived at the present entry, these allowing you to backtrack if necessary. And I write these all down on a sheet of paper. 5, occasionally you will encounter the phrase, "the end," in large capital letters. Very, very ominous. This signifies that your investigator is doomed and the adventure is over. Sometimes it means you have won, of course. If you failed in this attempt, you may always try again. And that takes us to page 8, and Alone Against the Tide. So we're going to take Eleanor, and we're going to move her over here, because she's just going to get in the way. One thing I do love about this is I have one character sheet. That's it. That's all I have to do this. Others I've looked and I've seen that you need certain things, and so I've printed them out and had them ready. And I don't know what year it is. So the story begins. Start. Here we go. We're at our start. We'll start at start, and then we'll move to 1. Our story begins sometime in the 1920s on the pier opposite the lakeside resort town of Esbury, Massachusetts. Esbury. Your investigator's reasons for visiting the town are discussed in the relevant entries. Read through the introduction and getting starting scenarios and gather everything you need. When you are ready to begin playing, go to number 1. Number 1, you die, the end. What? All the rest are just blank. No, just kidding. Of course. Get the real Call of Cthulhu experience. You die. Something's in the water. You go insane. The end. Anyway. The sun sinks low on the horizon as you board the ferry headed across the lake to Esbury. As you set foot on the boat, the ferryman greets you with a wide smile and a cheery wave. He stands by the gangplank as you pass, welcoming the other passengers as he removes his cap to scratch at his balding head. His pudgy figure fills his well-worn suit. He looks a little awkward, but he seems a rather pleasant sort. Leaving the man behind you, you take a seat toward the prow, eyes fixed on your destination. Go to 12. Okay. Ooh, this is a long one. I think this is about character creation. We're not going to have to deal with any of this. You settle into a seat with your thin briefcase resting on your lap, noticing that the rest of the passengers are likewise getting comfortable for the short trip across the lake. Glancing around, you catch sight of the ferryman entering the cabin. As you sit patiently and wait for the engine to come to life, you listen to the sounds of idle chatter around you. You look out across the water and notice a thin fog beginning to form over the surface of the water as the temperature drops with the approaching night. Oh, it's evening. Evening. 1920s. We'll pick a date later for like the role playing journal, whatever. I might just say it's 1920. We'll see. I don't even know what time of year it is. After a few minutes, you hear the engine sputter into action and feel the ferry lurch forward. The conversations around you continue as the ferryman joins you all on the deck. You can't help overhearing most of the talk, though it's surprisingly banal. Ah, there goes my leg. There are almost a dozen passengers on the ferry. Most of them are simply looking to spend their money during their weekend in Esbury and to enjoy the various shops and leisure activities the lakeside town has to offer. It's a tourist town. Many of the passengers seem to come from money, as is common in Esbury. So do I, with my 60 credit rating. Oh, oh, oh. You notice a strange look from one of the women in the group. She has a full figure and brown hair and eyes. She seems to be looking you over, admiring your features. Hello, stranger. Oh, I just started and even be like, here we go with Alone Against the Tide. Oh well. All right, so there's some information about creating your investigator. You allocate points. They're doing point by. It's not really point by. It's just allocation of points. Um, if you are using the pre-generated investigator, Dr. Woods, take a look at how their characteristics have been assigned. The half and fifth values have already been calculated for you. If you need more information, consult Book 2, page 7 of the starter set, or the Call of Cthulhu Keeper Rulebook. Go to 80. I'm still looking for my reasons for being here. Here we go. 80. We're back to this woman. The woman clearly sees something in you that she likes. Perhaps it's your looks, or I should have taken charm. Perhaps it's your looks, or a glint of intelligence in your eyes. She gives you a sly wink before turning back to her companions. You likewise turn your attention to the rest of the passengers. Oh, she's trouble. This lady shows up again. She's probably going to murder me. Sitting apart from the general crowd are two men in dark, well-tailored suits, whispering quietly to each other. They have unamused expressions on their faces, as if they don't seem pleased to be here. Perhaps they're on business. They're feds. Those are United States Bureau of Investigation men, I bet. Maybe Office of Naval Intelligence. Noticing that you're sitting alone, the ferryman approaches you. Oh, great. And stands over you with his characteristic smile. You notice he's missing a tooth in the upper left corner of his mouth. Okay. They need a picture of this guy. His eyes are bright as they light upon you. Good afternoon. You look a bit lonely there, friend. What brings you to Esbury? I can't do a Massachusetts accent. I can't. All right. If you're creating your own investigator, it is now time to choose your occupation. So, my occupation is professor. Let's see. There's a list of occupations found on page 9 of Book 2 of the Call of Cthulhu starter set. If you're using the Keeper Rulebook, instead choose one of the occupations listed below. Then look it up in the Suggested Occupations section. Make a note of skills, then allocate following skills. Okay, this is how to make your character, but we're using one of the pre-made characters. And again, they're doing points that are just assigned 40 40 40 50 50 50 60 60 70, and you just ignore the starting value that you've got in this case. Once you've done that, choose 7 personal interest skills to boost by 20%. Blah 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 blah. You may equip your characters as you see fit, though you should refrain from including any weapons. If you're playing Dr. Woods, instead all their skill points have been assigned to you. So, some of the choices here are antiquarian, author, dilettante, doctor of medicine, journalist, police detective, private investigator. So that's going to lead you on a different path, a little bit of a different path, which is kind of cool and kind of interesting. But I like that they have pre-gens, and it says if you're the professor or you have chosen to play Dr. Woods, go to 23, which is very cool. So that's where we'll be going, 23. You mentioned the passing of a distant colleague in Esbury, and how you've been sent by Miskatonic to recover his work and bring it back to the university. Okay, so we're from Miskatonic University, so I must be a professor of archaeology or anthropology. My archaeology is higher, so I'm probably a professor of archaeology. Um, the man sighs and nods slowly. You mean Professor Harris. Real shame what happened to him. Always seems like such a nice man. You gotta go Pepperidge Farm, remembers. That's how they talk. Officer Powell says they're still cleaning up the mess at the professor's place, but some of the more valuable bits will probably be at the estate sale tonight, if you're really wanting at it. The man looks down at his hands for a moment, and then back at you as he extends one your way. Anyway, I'm Lance. Lance Sanford. Pleased to meet you, but I wish it were under better circumstances, eh? Okay, Lance Sanford. To inquire about Professor Harris, go to 27. To inquire about Officer Powell, go to 36. To ask Lance Sanford about himself, go to 42. To ask about the estate sale, go to 66. To pass time waiting to arrive in Esbury, go. I'm gonna let's ask Lance about himself. Hold on. Inquisitive and ambitious. Inquisitive. I don't know anything about Lance. I must know something about Professor Harris. So we're gonna go to 42. You ask Sanford about himself, and he beams a big bright smile your way. Oh, that looks like an auctioneer picture. I've lived in Esbury for years, since back before all the rich folks found the place and turned it into their little vacation spot. My father owned the ferry to and from the town, and he passed it on to me when he got too old to do it himself anymore. I love it here. I can't imagine living anywhere else. Okay, red flag. Big red flag. That's exactly what happened in Alone Against the Flame. The lake is so clear and clean. I guess that's why we get so many visitors. This place has definitely grown since I was younger. Oh, sorry. This place has definitely grown since I was younger, though. Sometimes I miss the way things were before, but I love Esbury all the same, even now. You'll like it here, too. Sanford winks at you. You exchange a few more pleasantries with Sanford before he goes off to finish guiding the boat into port. Damn, I only get to ask one thing. You pass the time in casual conversation with the other passengers and in observing the scenery. You note the tall pines and the sloping hills along the lakeshore around Esbury. These features in the small town beyond are just visible through the growing mist, but squinting helps you make them out to your satisfaction. In time, you arrive at the pier at Esbury, grateful to be off the water. Go to 3. Okay. Well, we got Lance. Hopefully, Lance kind of likes me now, so he might be helpful later. You take your first steps onto the pier with the rest of the ferry passengers, trying to get your land legs once again. The passengers still chat casually as they walk off to their destinations. You note one last little flirty wink from the full-figured woman as she struts along confidently behind the woman accompanying her. And you feel the two dark-suited men push past you at a brisk pace, nudging you out of their way. Interesting. These are some interesting NPCs they've introduced very quickly. Sanford gives you one last wave and a smile as he begins tending the old rust-stained boat that is his pride and joy. The last light of the sun is fading fast, and the fog is growing thick on the water now. The night is still young. But you'd rather not be wandering around in the dark and fog of a town you're unfamiliar with. Taking in your surroundings, you see a sizable crowd jockeying for entrance into a lavish, modern-looking building along the lakeside. A folding sign sits out front, illuminated by a lantern. The words "Estate Sale Tonight" are written on it in large, bold letters. While this seems to be the main attraction, you could also seek out somewhere to stay for the night and set about your work in the morning. If you have not done so already, calculate your secondary attributes as per page 7, book 2 of Call of Cthulhu Starter Set, or the summaries on page 34 to 35 of the Call of Cthulhu Keeper Rulebook. I guess I should have waited on these. So that's this information on the back. Let's see what's going on with the estate sale. I feel like that could be extremely important. Pushing through the crowd, you make your way towards the estate sale. Judging by the number of people packing into the dance hall, this seems to be quite the event. Most of the people here are well dressed. Interesting. Most of the people here are well dressed. Oh, wait, is there a picture? I don't see any pictures that could be Lance. Sorry, most of the people here are well dressed, with conspicuous amounts of jewelry and designer clothing on display. You see a broad-shouldered man in a policeman's uniform standing by the door. He has a scarred yet clean-shaven face and a baton at his side. His brow is furrowed in a serious expression, and he watches the commotion through narrow eyes. As you mingle with the assorted academics and collectors, you notice a few other faces that stand out in the crowd. Most immediately, you spot a man in flowing orange robes with tawny skin. He seems more than a little out of place and is garnering some odd looks from the other guests. Glancing around further, you happen to notice the two dark-suited gentlemen from earlier, standing in a corner towards the front of the room, talking to a young, dark-haired man in a dated yet elegant long coat. He's of slight build and has rather sharp features. A thin wisp of mustache hangs beneath his nose. Most noticeably, though, is the rather attractive young woman standing on the stage at the front of the room next to a bespectacled old man. Long black hair cascades down her shoulders, accentuating her pale features and complementing her formal black dress. Occasionally, she and the older gentleman peek at objects hidden beneath white sheets, the sale items waiting to be displayed. Okay, so, there is a picture. Here's a picture. Revealing the antiquities. So this hasn't quite happened yet, but that's our lady and the gentleman up front. To mingle with the crowd of guests, go to 34. To speak to the officer at the back of the room, go to 88. To approach the man in orange, go to 102. To introduce yourself to the dark-suited men, go to 60. To make your way towards the stage and the woman, go to 22. To leave the hall and go find a place to stay for the night, go to 26. We're not going to do that. I want to talk to the man in orange and the cop. Or the dark-suited man. I guess... Damn it. I guess we will go to the... The officer doesn't seem pleased with all this. I don't know. I bet I'm only going to get to do one, and I really want to do at least 2 or 3 of these. The cop is probably a bad guy. So is the man in orange. Let's go to see the dark-suited men. That's 60. That should be interesting. You approach the huddled group and introduce yourself to them, stating that you recognize them from the ferry. That's exactly how I would have gone. The 2 men from earlier appeared annoyed at your presence and are visibly irritated. Scram, man! We don't know you. You got nothing to do with us. The 3rd man seems likewise bothered and frowns at your intrusion. They certainly make you feel unwelcome. Ignoring you in hopes that you'll leave, the 2 men in suits turn their backs on you. You see the jacket of each suit shift oddly, as if it's ill-fitting. They are armed. Spot hidden. My spot hidden is only 25%. It's base. 100. Critical fail. Alright, if you fail, go to 40. I failed so hard it hurt. You take the hint and decide to leave them before they get truly angry. You turn back to the crowd and search for another distraction. Go to 17. Well, hell. You've been gathering information in Esbury. Would you like to interview some more? You may now select another option from those below. Do not repeat a choice already selected. Once you've chosen 3 options from the list below, or before you are ready to move on, go to 35. Note that selecting to leave the hall will make you ineligible to make further selections from this list. Alright, let's go. Okay, so we can do 3. Once you've chosen 3 options from the list below. Alright, so I'm going to consider these 3 new options, so I'm not going to count the men in black. They're obviously criminals of some kind, and most likely, so we're going to have to come back to 17 probably. So we're going to 88. Let's go talk to the policeman. Well, do I want to talk to him? I want to talk to the orange man. I want to talk to the woman. Yeah, and I want to talk to the cop. I don't just want to... Okay, so we'll start with the 88 and hope it doesn't somehow be like, if you chose this, you can't choose any more. Blah, 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 blah. We're starting in an auction. I only have $300. It's not like I'm going to be able to afford to buy anything. You turn around and backtrack towards the entrance of the ballroom. Oh, great. I talk to these guys, and then I immediately go to a cop. Yeah, they're going to love that. Something about the officer by the door catches your attention and holds it. He gives off a commanding presence, and his eyes bore into you intensely as you make your way over to him. As you move within earshot, he rests his hands on his baton and clears his throat. I really hope I really hope there isn't going to be any sort of problem, citizen. I am the law. I really hope there isn't going to be any sort of problem, citizen. I wouldn't want to see anyone getting hurt tonight. His hand does not move from the baton. Good grief, this guy's uptight. Make a psychology check. I have a psychology of 50. Rolled a 94. For crying out loud, I'm going to jail. If you fail, go to 29. I hope I don't get aggressive here. The officer seems rather alert and vigilant. It would probably be best not to bother him and let him do his job. He clearly does not need or want your help in any way. Go to 17. All right, that's one. Wow, I haven't made one roll yet, I don't think. And I have a shitty luck. All right, let's go talk to Man in Orange. Why not? 102. Not having much luck yet. This is not cool. You approach this strange man. He seems well traveled and weary, and his long orange robes are a stark contrast to the fine suits and dresses of the New England financial elite. Ooh, ooh la la, ooh. He seems decidedly out of place. You open your mouth as if to speak and find him staring intensely at you. Make an anthropology roll. That's 60%. Wait, where am I? 102. Make an anthropology roll. If you succeed, go to 72. Fail, go to 37. 43 is a success. Finally, we'll check it off. Okay, so I succeeded. Go to 72. You recognize the man's style of dress to be that of a Buddhist monk. You bow a customary greeting, to which the monk smiles and returns the gesture before speaking in heavily accented but fluent English. It is good to see one here with such respect for our customs. I am Banyu. Okay, good start, good start. If you fail, you immediately comment on the fact that he is Oriental. Now, his expression turns to a frown as he makes a sweeping gesture to the rest of the room. The rest here only seem to seek profit from my culture. Selling the items of my ancestors is most shameful. You respectfully question why he would come such a long way to witness such a thing, and he sighs before turning back to you. I have come with what money my temple could gather, so that I might save a certain few of the artifacts. Ones that your Professor Harris stole from my temple in Sarnath when he came to visit some years ago. Isn't it the doom that came to Sarnath? Is this guy from the Dreamlands? The monk seems troubled, and falls silent. He bows a farewell, and you take the cue to leave. Go to 17. Sarnath. The doom that came to Sarnath. Yeah. Banyu. Let's go talk to the woman on the stage. She is number 22. You make your way to the stage, navigating around the many guests in the dance hall. Your eyes lock firmly on the woman, and hers rise to meet yours as she looks up from peeking at one of the hidden objects. She stops what she's doing as you approach, and a smile appears on her lips as she notices that she's caught your eye. This is not the same lady from the ferry, I don't think. She rests her left hand on her hip as you come to stand at the foot of the stage. The old man behind her continues his inspections, either unaware or uncaring that you've come to distract them. The woman leans towards you over the edge of the stage. You can see her makeup has been painstakingly applied, despite her status as a recent widow. I don't know where I got that information from. You clear your throat as you meet her gaze, and promptly introduce yourself. She extends her hand to you formally. Well, aren't you a new face in town, she teases. Is this the lady? I don't know if this is the lady. I don't think this is the lady. I probably could have found that lady if I'd have mingled. We get those quite a bit here. No doubt you plan to bid on some of my late husband's things. Good for both of us, I say. Oh, good for both of us, I say. Just be sure to give a good price for little old me, all right? She winks slyly at you. Okay, that's not very sly. You realize now would be a good time to get more information from this woman, who might be the most... I can't talk. You realize now would be a good time to get more information from this woman who might be the most well informed regarding your interests. She certainly seems like the flirty sort and will probably respond well to more of the same. I don't have charm. I didn't put points into charm. Son of a bitch. Well, I'm going to fail this roll. Um, now hold on. Where was that? 80 was character creation, and I have to remember why I came. Go to 23. So 23 is just to call him having to cover his work. I'm here for his work, for his probably his writing and stuff like that. Professor Harris work. That's what I'm here for. Okay, make a charm. She's flirting with me. I didn't put anything in a charm. I only have 15%. So, most likely, well, we'll see what happens. 47 is a fail. If you fail, go to 57. I'm. Can't I just try to persuade her? You manage to smile and stumble through a compliment, and the woman laughs. Oh my. Well, aren't you the nervous sort? Don't know what to say to a pretty woman like me, eh? That's quite all right. I wouldn't have you anyway. Oh gosh. Ouch. Hurt my heart. You're welcome to stay for the night sale, though. I might like you better as a buyer. She winks and turns around, walking back to her place on the stage. Go to 17. All right, so that's all the ones we can do at 17. We've done 3. We did the officer, which turned out very badly. We did the man in orange. I have psychology too, which turned out better. And we did the woman. We'll mark those. Those are my 3. Once you've chosen 3 options, or before, if you're ready to move on, go to 35. So now we go to 35. Okay, cool. 35. The murmuring of the crowd dies down and people begin to gather around the stage as Amelia and the older gentleman call everyone to attention. I'm trying to figure out what all this has to do with this cover. Sorry. The widow strides confidently to the front of the stage where the lights are centered. She flashes a broad smile at the crowd and begins to speak. Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad you could all make it tonight. As you all know, my husband recently passed and, well, at this point, Amelia Harris, let's write her name down. At this point, Amelia begins to tear up theatrically, so much so that her makeup begins to smear. She produces a handkerchief to dry her eyes before continuing. Well, I'm very upset. I miss my poor William very much. And I don't know what I'll do without him. But that's why I've brought you all here tonight. I hope you could find a use for his collection, and I know that he would be happy to see his things go to those who value them highly. I hope you'll show this poor widow a kindness by finding something you like. But now let us begin. I'll leave the auctioning to Mr. Warren. With her opening statement complete, Amelia moves to stage left and allows the bespectacled old man, presumably Mr. Warren, to take center stage. He clears his throat before speaking. Tonight we have 6 very ancient and very valuable items for sale from the estate of Professor William Harris. Though exceedingly strange, I have deemed these items to be authentic to the best of my ability. I have placed a ballot box, slips of paper, and a pencil on each of the 6 tables next to the item for sale. If you wish to bid on an item, this is a silent auction. If you wish to bid on an item, simply write your name and the amount you are willing to pay for it on a slip, then place it in the box. The item will be sold to the highest bidder. All the proceeds will go to the wife of the deceased. With that, Mr. Warren moves to reveal the gathered items. Go to 70. Okay. That's a weird way to do an auction. If she's trying to make money, this should be a legit auction. Mr. Warren approaches the first table and removes the cloth covering to reveal an odd pair of clay cylinders covered with strange etchings. So those are probably prayer, what are they called? Prayer wheels. They seem small and quite fragile, with large cracks running down their sides. Mr. Warren proceeds to the next table and likewise uncovers the item in question. This one is significantly larger and more ornate. Oh, man, my leg is really tight. 3:45 p.m. It appears to be some sort of altar or reliquary, heavily decorated with yellow-green gemstones. However, there is one similarity with the first item, the presence of the same strange written characters, though these ones seem to have been painted on. So we've got prayer wheels and reliquary. The old scholar turns to the next item in question and displays it for all to see. A decorated crown of solid bronze, wrought with the image of a Hindu god. The next item is certainly the most mundane. A large, thick, leather-bound journal that appears well-worn and beaten, with several loose papers jammed between the pages. Mr. Warren senses the confusion of some of the members of the crowd and clarifies that the notebook is the assembled personal works and studies of Professor Harris. That's what I want. That's what I want. Damn it. How much money have I got? I've only got $300. Everything else I don't care about. I just want his works. The item that follows the journal is a well-preserved ceremonial robe of a Brahmin priest. The cloth is pure white. The last item is perhaps the strangest of all. It is a small statue or idol, presumably of one of the many deities of ancient India. Made from blue-green stone in the shape of a rather grotesque lizard-like creature, Dagon. The craftsmanship is crude and gaudy, so much so that it appears fake. People begin moving among the items, looking them over, and conversing quietly. Okay. Make either an appraise or archaeology roll. If you succeed, go to 45. If you fail, go to 61. I only have 5% in praise. My archaeology is 70. Here we go. 41 is a success. Finally, in archaeology, of course, because it's 70%, thank God. If you succeed, go to 45. 45. You examine the items with a trained eye. The crown and ceremonial robe are obviously authentic and typical of what you would expect. They are in great condition and would certainly fetch a good price, though they are no rarer than any other antiquity. Likewise, Professor Harris's journal seems like it would be of value to a scholar, though a few delicate cursory page turns show that it contains personal accounts and travelogues as well as historically relevant information. This is likely a good source of information on Professor Harris himself. However, the other items present are noticeably different. The altar and clay cylinders bear a similar script and both show comparable signs of aging and wear. Given this, they are unlikely to be fabrications, but they are unlike more traditional finds from ancient India. A close inspection of the lizard idol leads you to believe it is likewise verifiably authentic. Though the work... Oh no, I know who this is on the cover. Oh, oh no. Oh, I know where this is going. I was right about Sarnath. I bet this is Bakrug on the cover of this one. All right, that's interesting. Oh! Anyway, sorry. A close inspection of the lizard idol, I do not want that, leads you to believe it is likewise verifiably authentic. Though the workmanship is strange and unnatural, and clearly nothing like anything you've seen from ancient India or elsewhere, it doesn't bear any signs of work from modern tools or influence from modern styles either. Go to 81. I wonder if I have a chance to actually bid on any of this stuff. I have a feeling things are going to go horribly, horribly wrong. Wow, what is happening here? 81. You notice that you're not the only one looking over the items with such interest. The monk appears to be closely scrutinizing the strange items as well, and the dark-suited gentleman from earlier seemed to have taken a liking to the curious idol. This is not good. Apart from this, various other guests wander around the tables, occasionally fixing on one in particular. There are many guests, and a fair number of bids are being placed. If you'd like to bid on any of the items, now is the time. You'll be redirected to this entry after each choice you may choose. Wait a minute. You'll be redirected to this entry. Oh, back to 81. Okay. After each choice, and you may choose to bid on any number of items. Please make each choice only once, and please note that each unsuccessful bid will lower your credit rating for future bids. Alright. The journal's what I want. Interesting. I have a 60 credit rating, but it's going to drop if I don't. Okay, to bid on the journal, go to 6. We can keep coming back here. I kind of want the strange idol, too. The robes and the crown. What'd they say? The robes and the crown? 70. Hold on. Let's look over this again. 70. Um, um, oh, no. I made my appraise, so son of a bitch, I didn't write that down. Oh, 45. 45. 45. Let's look over 45 again and see what's valuable here. Let's see. Crown and the ceremonial robes are. Okay, I don't care about them then. So the crown and the robes, we could put X's by. The journal I'm in is interesting. The altar and clay cylinders bear similar script, and both compares. Given this unlike these fabrications, but unlike the more traditional finds. Close inspection of the. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to bid on all of them, obviously. 81. Let me reread this too, real quick. You'll be redirected to the entry after each choice. You may choose to bid on any number of items. Please make each choice only once. And please note that each successful bid will lower your credit rating for future bids. Each successful bid lowers my credit rating for future bids. Okay. So we want to go with what we want to go first. The first thing is his notes. We're going for the notes. We're going to go for the idol. I feel like the prairial and the reliquary might be interesting and important too. And I almost want to give them back to this monk. But we'll see what happens. You feel that the information in the journal is essential to your interests, and you cannot help but make a bid. You place your paper with the others and hope that Mr. Warren calls your name when the amounts are compared. Make an appraise or credit rating roll. All right. Credit rating is 60. 65. Damn it. All right. Much as I hate to do it, I'm going to burn 5 points of luck to make that a success. If you succeed, go to 100. I want those notes. Anything else I can let go, but I definitely want the notes. I hate that. You feel that the knowledge in these pages could very well prove essential to you. So you offer a price that is more than fair. Sure enough, Mr. Warren calls your name and presses the leather-bound tome into your eager hands. Reduce your credit rating by 2 percentiles and go to 81. Okay. Ugh. That's annoying. So our credit rating is at 58. My luck's down to 30. I'm not going to ever fail. I'm not going to ever succeed a luck check. Well, it was shit to begin with, so I really don't care. All right. I want to look at the strange idol. So we're going to go to 92. Something draws you to the curious idol, and you feel compelled to make a bid. You notice that you're not alone in this, as the monk and one of the dark-suited men both place bids of their own into the box. You hope that yours is high enough. Make an appraise or credit rating roll, both at extreme difficulty. So my credit rating is now a 58. That makes my extreme an 11. Oh, well. I got a 29, so that is a fail. That's fine. If you fail, go to 154. You should have bid on it. The adventure is over. You die. The end. 154. Though you put a sizable bid in for the idol, a truly outrageous sum is called, equally twice what you offered. Mr. Warren squints hard at the paper before calling out the staggering price and an unfamiliar-sounding name. Banyu. Confused whispers break out as the orange-robed monk collects the statue with a look of excitement on his face. Go to 81. Good for him. Good for him. Okay, that makes me feel better. If he's really from Sarnath, as he says, in the Dreamlands, how the hell did he get here? All right. Now, we're going to backtrack again, I think to 45. No, 70. He was interested in those, too. I got the notes. That's all I need. Let's get out of here. Let's get on the boat and leave. I thought I saw I thought there was a point where 45 jumped me to 81. No. 45 was it 70? I was interested in who was interested in what. Um, question modern day. Praise archaeology, go to 45. I got the notes. I'm super happy. Go to 81. That's where we're at. Oh, here we go. Okay. Then one appears to be closely scrutinizing the stranger items as well, and the dark-suited gentleman from early on seemed to have taken a liking to the curious idol. Apart from that, various other guests wander around the tables. Okay. What did my appraise say? That's at 45. The altar and clay cylinders bear similar script and both show comparative signs of aging wear, given that they are unlikely to be fabrications here, unlike more traditional finds from ancient India. So we've lost the lizard idol. That's okay. I'm trying to think if I want to bid on any of these things. I mean, the notes are what I was here for. The crown and the ceremonial robes are typical. We don't need those at Miskatonic. Let's go to 24. I've still got some money left. My credit rating is still 58, which is pretty exceptional. I should have jacked that up. I didn't know this would be an auction. To bid on the clay cylinders, go to 24. You write a reasonable bid for the pair of clay cylinders and place it in the box. Shortly after you do so, Mr. Warren clears the box and begins checking the bids. Make a credit rating roll hard difficulty. So hard difficulty is going to be a half, is going to be a 29. I got an 09. I won. If you succeed, go to 38. So we got the notes. We've got, let's see what happens here at 38 first before I jump the gun. You muster your patience and wait for Mr. Warren to finish comparing the proposed bids for the strange clay cylinders. Thankfully, your patience pays off, and you soon find them in your possession. Reduce your credit rating by 5 percentiles. All right, we are down to 53. That's fine. As long as we're above 50. So the notes, clay wheels. Go to 81. That's okay. Miskatonic will reimburse me for all this later. And I think, let's bid on the altar. 103. It's probably stupid. I should have just gotten the notes, get on the ferry, go home. We're done. We're good. You decide on a fair bid for the gemstone studded altar and submit your offer. Not long after, Mr. Warren empties the ballot box and begins sifting through the entries for the highest bid. Appraise or credit rating, both at hard difficulty. Okay. Was the first one at hard? I might have screwed up, everybody. The journal is 6. I didn't. No, regular appraiser. So hard difficulty now. 53 divided by 2 is 26. 29. Missed it by 3. I am not going to spend luck on that. If you fail, go to 59. Let's see who won it. Mr. Warren takes his time mulling over the names and figures before calling out the name of Dexter James. One of the dark-suited men from earlier comes forward to claim the altar. Okay. Go to 81. This is interesting. I do like how this is playing out, and I see why they're not like... You could do the same thing with a bidding war and reveal who bid on what. That could work. That's cool. I like how this is playing out, though. This is kind of neat. I'm not going to bid on anything else. I really don't. I think the crown and the ceremonial robes are garbage, and we lost the idol. So and the reliquary. So that's all we're going to bid on. Let's go to 16. I probably should have just gotten the notes, and everything else I should have let go. But that's okay. Our credit rating is still 53. We're still in the wealthy range. That means I don't have to make any major changes for anything. Your business here is completed. You see the crowd staring covetously at the newly acquired items, and you spot Amelia looking smug and satisfied with a leather bag full of cash, big dollar sign on the side. Mr. Warren begins to clear away the tables while Officer Powell stands by the door and directs people out of the building and into the ever-thickening fog. Though some seem content to stay and socialize, you feel that it would be best to go to bed down for the night. Go to 26. Yeah, my business here is done. I probably should have just bought the notes, and then I could have just left with them. But no, I had to get the prayer wheel. If this dude comes to me and he's like, give it to me, please, I'm probably just going to give it to him. 26. While the estate sale seems interesting, you would feel more secure with a roof over your head for the night. You pull someone out of the crowd and inquire as to where you can find a room to rent. You're directed a few blocks into town to a modestly priced hotel a few buildings down from Esbury's police station. Ooh, good. As you enter in, from the cool night air, you're greeted by the heat of a roaring fire. The small front room feels stuffy and cramped. The bulk of the space is dominated by the large service counter, behind which stands a wiry-looking wisp of a woman. She turns her wide eyes to you and asks your name, then quotes a price that's more than fair. Yeah, I'm wealthy. I can spend $50 a day, so it's probably $2 a night. With the transaction complete, you haul your thin briefcase up the stairs, unpack it, and settle into your room for the night. Go to 9. All right, I'm not dead yet. We've lasted however long since I stopped character creation. This is awesome. You wake in the morning. Yeah, I won't be able to play this a second time because they wouldn't have a second estate sale. It's not like I'm just showing up and exploring or doing something. So, if I want to keep this canon, I can't go back. That's okay. You wake up in the morning, grateful for the rest. You rise from your bed and take in the modest surroundings that make up your room. The furnishings are sparse, a small, poor-quality dresser and a cramped and dusty writing desk tucked in the corner. Man, I thought this was like a luxury resort town. Sitting atop the desk is a plate of eggs and toast, apparently set out for you by the hotel's owner. Jeez, this came in my room. The walls are plain and unadorned, save for a single window that faces towards the lake. However, this view is currently blocked by the incredibly thick fog. We're going to go to the Dreamlands. Which has taken on a pale green hue. Your vision is obscured entirely, and you cannot see into the depths of the outlandish green mist. You also notice your personal belongings placed around the room, exactly as you left them the night before. Go to 106. Interesting. Oh my god, green mist. We're in Sarnath. After getting dressed and eating the modest breakfast set out for you, you're ready to begin your day. You take a moment to consider what that means for you. Your mind turns to Professor Harris. If you're so inclined, you might be able to investigate the circumstances of his death further. Considering that you don't have his widow Amelia's address, you would have to start your search with the official report filed with Officer Powell at the police station. Alternatively, you could take this free time to look through your belongings and examine any items you might have. The hotel owner has been in your room, so a check of your things might be in order. Or perhaps you have some other reason to look over your possessions. Finally, if you feel that your business in Esbury is concluded, you could always try to find Lance Sanford at the ferry. Inquisitive. That is a trait. We're going to stick around. Let's get going. Let's look over my items first. I'm a little put off that somebody let themselves into my room and left food for me. A cursory inspection of your personal belongings reveals that nothing is amiss. All your possessions are just as you left them. While you are here looking things over, you can take this opportunity to more closely scrutinize items bought at the estate sale. Alternatively, you may leave and go explore elsewhere if your curiosity is satisfied. After examining each item, you'll be redirected to this entry or given the option to proceed as appropriate. If you have none of the items or are done looking over what you bought, choose to investigate elsewhere. Yeah, we're going to go to the police station, but I do want to look over these items. It was late. We did buy the journal, 74. We're going to go there first. And we bought the clay cylinders. And everything else went to somebody else. I'm glad I wrote that down. So it'll be, we'll just start with 74. And then we're going to go back to 32. This is a journal. This could take all day. I'm just going to skim it. Oh my gosh, it is a huge entry. It is so long. Uh, Though you glanced at the notebook during the estate sale, you haven't had time to properly look it over until now. Reading through the book, you become deeply engrossed and spend the next few hours in study. The time spent yields valuable information. Professor Harris made several trips to India starting about 12 years ago. During these visits, he went to multiple sites to make observations and recover artifacts. His longest and most profitable trip appears to have been 10 years ago during an excursion to Sarnath, India, where he writes about recovering several items from an active Buddhist shrine. Apparently, Professor Harris had some regrets about this theft, but he couldn't resist taking the artifacts for his personal collection. What a jerk. The descriptions of the items he came across in Sarnath matched some of the items in the estate sale at the estate sale last night. The clay cylinders, the gemstone encrusted altar, and the lizard-like idol are all described in detail in the entries related to his trip to Sarnath. See, I would have liked to have known who won everything if I didn't, too. I wish that had been in there. These same items then appear throughout the rest of his journal. He'd clearly been studying them over the past decade. You know what I should have done? I should have looked at each item and then I should have declined to buy. And then at least I would know who won what. The Buddhist won the idol, which I think was the most important thing that was in there. Sorry. These same items then appear throughout the rest of the journal. He'd clearly been studying them over the past decade and developed something of a fixation with them. It was the idol that initially caught Harris's eye, and according to him, the depiction of the great and grotesque water lizard matched no description of any known Hindu deity. Hoping to find clues to the idol's identity, Harris set about trying to translate the mysterious script on the cylinders and the altar. Oh, I got the cylinders. In doing so, he met with significant difficulty, as the text was only barely recognizable as an archaic dialect of a pre-Sanskrit language. The process was slow and painstaking until about a year ago. At this time, Professor Harris writes of having a strange and enlightening dream. He reports walking in the ancient world from whence these items originated, a grand city of marble walls and onyx streets, of bronze gates and marvelous palaces and gardens. He writes of visiting the 17 tower temples of this ancient city and meeting the bearded gods who dwelled there, sat upon their ivory thrones. Harris calls the strange place Sarnath, despite the sheer impossibility of this. He claims that among the temples he learned the secrets of the ancient writing. His next entry goes on to describe the odd clay cylinders as the brick cylinders of Kadatheron, though he hadn't yet identified the other objects. The next few pages have been torn from the journal. What? Amelia, damn it. The entries resume with more mundane manners, though there are still references to the artifacts from time to time. The most recent entries in the journal speak of Harris's daily studies and living with Amelia. It's clear that he cared about her deeply from the way he writes about her. But he laments that his studies keep him from spending the time with her that he would like. Instead, he lavished her with gifts and money, which she was all too happy to accept. He notes that Amelia had never been happier, despite the distance between them. The last entry catches your eye and is dated a little over a week ago. Apparently, the pages torn from his journal went missing only recently. Professor Harris expresses deep concern at this, as there were no signs of forced entry to his study, and only he and Amelia had access to it, though he was sure he hadn't removed them from the journal himself. You finish your reading by glossing over the last week of the professor's life, which is rather eventful and peaceful, beyond his continued obsession with the artifacts and his occasional worries about Amelia. Go to 32. Okay, Amelia. I gotta go talk to Amelia. I brought the clay cylinders. We're going to take a look at them at 62. But I have no translation. I wonder if the translations were included in those pages. You turn the hardened... Oh, there they are. There's the pictures. Brick cylinders of Kadatheron. This way. Let's see if that'll focus. Can you see them? Trying to see if that's focused. It's not really focused, but you can make that out. Those are the brick cylinders. They're smaller than I expected. You turn the hardened clay cylinders over in your hands, your eyes falling on the large cracks running down both items. Despite this damage, their solid construction has led to the cylinder's survival throughout the ages. The next most obvious quality is the strange writing plastered along the sides of each cylinder. It's quite remarkable in that it doesn't resemble any language known to you. Unfortunately, you have no way of translating it. Go to 32. Okay, we came from 32 and we returned to 32. Okay. We can go to the police station or the ferry. We're going to go to the police station. It should still be fairly early in the day. I'd like to find out about Professor Harris's death and his address if I can. You step out into the greenish mist. You feel it clinging tightly to you as you make your way the short distance to the police station. Upon entering the small... I'm betting this is a Dreamland scenario. I totally thought it was going to be Deep Ones. They got me. Upon entering the small brick building, you are struck with a sense of claustrophobia. The walls here are uncomfortably close together and space is tight. Crammed into the tiny structure are a large desk, several filing cabinets, and a few chairs. A closet-sized holding cell with iron bars sits at the rear of the room. Oh God, I'm going to end up in there, I bet. Behind the large desk is Officer Powell, smoking a cigar with his feet propped up on the table. His coat is unbuttoned and his hat lies on top of a stack of papers. His hat lies on top of a stack of papers next to a battered old revolver. He opens one eye and frowns at you, sighing through his cigar as he straightens himself up to look presentable. I am the law. If you're bothering me right now, I'm going to assume this is important. You mention that you would like to see the police report for Professor William Harris's death, to which he replies with a snort. You have no business dealing with that. And even if you did, this is my jurisdiction. Shove off and leave me in peace. Actually, that's public record, unless unless the case isn't finished with. Unless it's an ongoing investigation. Even I know that. He doesn't seem cooperative, but perhaps you can convince him that you have some special circumstance that warrants to look through his files. Make a fast talk? Damn it, I put no points into that either. 5%. He's probably going to beat my ass up and throw me in jail. I rolled a 10. Not going to burn luck. I have a feeling I'm going to need it. I failed. We're going to 101. I guess we're going to go to the ferry. That's the only other option that they've given us. You try to convince the officer that you have a particularly good reason for needing access to the file, but he simply doesn't care. Scram, stranger, you're ruining my smoke. If you want to dig at a dead guy, go bother his widow. Her place is over on the north side of town, right next to the church. Can't damn well miss it. Officer Powell will be of no more help at this time. What a jerk. You don't have to be a jerk to be a cop, but it helps. To find the Harris house, go to 90. Yeah. Let's go to 90. I hope if somebody steals something, they're not going to steal my notes. I love my notes. I was super happy to get those notes. You walk into town towards the Harris address. Even knowing the location, it's difficult for you to find your way due to the unfamiliarity with the town and the density of the peculiar green mist. Oh, we're so dead. Oh my God. The doom that came to Esbury. As a result, it's some time before you arrive at the Harris house. As you approach the building, a man steps out of the fog, blocking your path. He's young and thin, with rather angular features and a faint hint of a mustache atop his lips. He's dressed in a dark suit and stares at you from beneath a flat cap. You're an unwelcome surprise. I don't know what you're looking for, but you won't find it here. Your eyes betray you as you glance at the Harris house. The man scowls visibly. Why don't you leave the poor widow alone, you creep? If you want to bother her, you're going to have to go through old Joshua here. Capiche? His hand brushes beneath his coat, as if searching for something, but then he stops himself. He pauses for a moment, looking you over once more before spitting on the ground at your feet and turning away. So I can call out to Joshua, I can make my way to the Harris house, or I can heed his warning and return to the hotel. Let's call out to Joshua, to old Joshua. Let's see if I can talk to him. You call out to Joshua to explain yourself, half expecting that he would simply brush you off. Surprisingly, he turns in your direction and steps towards you. As Joshua moves closer to you, you can once again make out his features despite the fog. You see now that he's visibly red in the face and his eyes are bloodshot. Oh, great. Joshua's drunk. He is clearly livid. Oh, maybe he's just mad. His hand darts beneath his coat and reemerges holding a Colt M1911, which he points directly at you while speaking in an agitated manner. What the hell's your problem? I threaten you and you come back for more? Do you have a death wish? Leave Amelia alone. I've been about this for far too long for you to wander to town and ruin it for me. He shoves you back and levels his gun at your face, looking you dead in the eye with sweat on his brow. He grits his teeth, panting and huffing for a second before holstering the gun, bracing himself against a nearby building. Whoa, what is wrong with this guy? Get the hell out of my sight! If I have to look at that goddamn face of yours one more second, I'll put another hole in it. You see no reason to further provoke Joshua. And you hurriedly leave him where he is. God, something's wrong with the boy, too. Damn it. I'm going to press on to the Harris house. I got full hit points. My dodge is pretty good. Ooh, just got a head rush. Ooh, I'm worried about this guy. I'm empty. Oh no. We're going to push on to the Harris house. I probably should just leave. Well, okay, maybe we won't push on. Oh my god, dogs. Give me one moment, please. I am inquisitive. I'm very curious. This Joshua guy is apparently like trying to hook up with Amelia or something. I honestly don't give a crap about that. I just want these missing pages. So yeah, we're going to push on to the Harris house. This could be it. We're at 4:15. This could be a short scenario if Joshua catches me. Despite Joshua's urgings, you feel compelled to speak to Amelia yourself. You approach the front of the house and note your surroundings. The house's exterior hints at the wealth of the occupants. But then again, so do most places in town. Directly across from the residence is a small church whose religious iconography seems to have inspired the Harrises in the design of their own home. A bronze cross hangs over the front door, and decorative columns line the outside walls of the two-story house. All in all, the architecture style is somewhat baroque, complete with a pair of carved angels lounging beneath the eaves that are just visible through the strange haze. You knock on the door and wait in the mist for a few moments, hoping for someone to hear you. Eventually, much to your relief, the widow Amelia answers the door. She's wearing a bright red dress, wow, she's in mourning obviously, which accents her deep crimson lipstick. She appears to have taken great care of her appearance. She flashes you a smile and invites you inside. The house opens into a large foyer, and you see various crates and bundles stacked high along the walls. Just selling off a few more common things. Mind the mess. The porter hasn't come for it yet. She takes you by the hand and leads you past stacks of items, helping you to pick your way through the deceased Professor Harris' assembled possessions. She takes you into a small drawing room full of antique furniture and offers you some coffee. After settling in and exchanging a few well-mannered pleasantries, she asks you in more detail about the late Professor Harris. Amelia sighs theatrically, and she's such a fake and a liar, and looks down at her hands. I can't imagine what you want to ask about William. I found him in his study with the gun still in his mouth. What more could you want to know? Oh, ow, he killed himself. Make a psychology roll. My psychology is only a 50. 13 is a success. Sweet. I really wanted that one, and I really did not want to spend luck points. On a success, go to 126. Okay, we got to restart our numbering. We've gone all the way to the bottom. So we'll restart here, and we are going from 55 to 126. I just want those pieces of paper, and I will leave you alone forever. You don't know why you hadn't realized it before. Selling all of his things, adopting such flirty demeanor, dismissing questions about her husband's death, Amelia doesn't seem too broken up about her husband passing. She's hiding something. You'd bet your career on it. Hopefully not your life. You suspect she's involved in Professor Harris's death in some form or another. You open your mouth, prepared to call her bluff. No, don't do that. Okay. You open your mouth. Oh, a lake. Oh my God, we're on a lake. Sarnath was on a lake. You open your mouth, prepared to call her bluff and press her for more information, but you are interrupted by a loud knock at the door. Amelia jumps up, startled, and stands there for a moment, in confusion, as the pounding on the door resumes. Police! Open up the door! Open the door. Amelia's face drains white as she goes to answer the knock. Your gut tells you something's wrong here. You feel uneasy about the officer at the door. You tell yourself you're being irrational and on edge, but you have trouble fighting with that feeling. You have a few precious moments to react. To ignore your instincts and wait, go to 47. To take this chance to hide, make a stealth roll. Yeah, let's make, oh, my stealth sucks ass. No, oh, it sucks ass. I upped it to 30, but it's still not very good. I'm going to try to hide. Come on, come on. This could be the end. 49. No, that's a fail. If you fail, go to 20. Hope this isn't the end for me. This could be the end for me. Your instincts get the better of you, and you feel compelled to make your escape. You rise from the seat, looking for suitable exits. The only way that doesn't lead towards the entrance is through the kitchen. You don't know if there's an exit that way, but you think it's worth a shot. Unfortunately, you never get to take it. As you ride and head for the kitchen doorway, Officer Powell bursts into the room, shouting, "Freeze! Police!" You glance over your shoulder and see his revolver leveled at you. You go stiff. This is the second time somebody's pointed a gun at me. This is really getting old. You're under arrest for trespassing. You're going to come with me. Now. He has you dead to rights. Talking would do you little good, as he's already caught you trying to flee the scene. You should probably do what he says. On the other hand, you could try to run. Staring down the barrel of a gun, the odds don't look good, but maybe you like your chances better with the gun than the prison cell. What's my dodge? My dodge is 50. I don't know what rolls I'll have to make if I run. No. We're going to go quietly. Sorry, but I'm relatively law-abiding, right? Inquisitive and ambitious, but it doesn't say I am reckless or anything like that. The officer's armed and angry, so you decide it's probably best not to resist. You're escorted out of the house at gunpoint and into the sickly green fog. Amelia neither says nor does anything as you pass. She simply stares at you as you go. What the fuck do they want me for? I didn't kill Harris. I wasn't even on the island till yesterday. On the street, just outside the Harris property, you spot Joshua grinning madly. His eyes meet yours, and his smile gets just a bit wider. He put Officer Powell up to this. He's not even trying to hide it. That still doesn't explain why, but at least you know for certainty that Joshua is not friendly to you, and that he has Powell in his pocket. You mull this over as you're marched through the misty streets and taken to the police station. You're ushered into a dim and dingy room and shoved into a closet-sized cell on the far wall. Officer Powell turns the key in the lock, sealing you in the cell. He settles into his seat and pays you no further mind as he begins puffing on a cigar. What the hell are the charges, asswipe? He seems to have no intention of letting you go anytime soon. To wait the night in the cell, to attempt to escape. Oh, hello. Make a locksmith roll. My locksmith is 70. Yes! If you succeed, go to 1 of 70. Fail, go to 84. To try to convince him to let you out, make a fast talk roll. I can't make that. Alright, I'm not spending a night in a damn cell. Sorry, this is bullshit. We're going to go on the run. Alright, let's make a locksmith check. 51 is a success. Screw this guy. Screw this cop. And screw Freddy, or whatever the hell his name was. His name? Joshua. 107. We're out. I'll leave a note. Dear officer, what you're doing is you're a scumbag. You spot a paperclip lying just outside the bars of your cell. No doubt it fell off one of the stacks of documents on Officer Powell's desk. You slip your hand between the bars and reach out to grab it, sighing with relief at your good fortune. You bend the paperclip to serve as an improvised lockpick. Glancing up, you see that Officer Powell is still turned away from you, puffing absent-mindedly on his cigar. You set to work trying to get the lock open. The lock is strong, as it's meant to keep criminals safely behind bars, but is no match for your skills. It takes you some time to finally get it open, but eventually you feel it give way. You check on Officer Powell one more time. He seems to be paying you no attention. If your luck holds, you may be able to sneak out of the prison cell without him noticing. Stealth is only a 30. Okay, this is ill-advised. I changed my mind. I'm going to spend the night in the cell. I don't even want to look at it. 98! Crit fail! That is a fail. 146. Is he going to kill me for breaking out? Don't keep paperclips so close. You creep out of your cell as quietly as you can. You make it nearly halfway to the door, for it turns out Your best is not good enough. Powell hurriedly rises to his feet and raises his gun at you. He has no intention of letting his prisoner escape. Your fight or flight response takes over, and you act solely on instinct when faced with the probable demise. Go to 82. What is going on in this town? You eye the barrel of the gun, weighing your chances. It doesn't look good, but you decide it beats the alternative. Your muscles tense, waiting to spring into action. You take a breath and go for it. You miscalculated just how slim your chances are. It doesn't say the end. No, it's the end. He's going to shoot me? And then I wake up. This was all just a dream. What a crap. This is crap. You miscalculated. You feel a round slam into your chest, and then another. You stumble back, clutching at your wounds, doubled over in agony. You look up just in time to see he's not going to get away with murder for a trespassing charge. I'm sorry. You look up just in time to see Powell looming over you before he smashes the butt of his gun into your head. In a daze, you look down at the pool of blood forming around you. Your limbs start to go numb. The pain starts to recede, and you feel yourself growing cold. You know that you're going to die. The last thing you see is the glint of murder in the policeman's eyes. You have died. Your visit to Esbury is over. It is the end. And then I wake up. So we're going to back up here to, you know what? I'm going to take this off the rails. And we'll see if it just kills me anyway. 146, 107. I mean, I didn't learn anything. I couldn't figure out anything of what was going on. I really was enjoying this until it was like, every choice leads you to jail. Oh, God, that's annoying. What time is it? 4:30. So I've unlocked the prison cell, and then I'm going to spend the night. How about that? Let's go that route. Was that 65? To spend the night in the cell. So if I wake up and go to 84, instead of stealthing, let's just see what 84 does to me. We're going to do an alternate ending here, or I wake up from a dream. Oh my God. It doesn't matter. They're killing me anyway. If the cops get you, you die. So that's it. So I'm not even going to bother with this. That's the end of everything. He's watching me, blah, blah, blah. So this is some kind of sacrifice thing. I was hoping it was just like, it's a normal town, but bad stuff was coming, and it was going to wipe the town. I wonder what would have... okay. I really was enjoying this up to the point where it's like, oh, anything you do, you go to jail, and then you get killed if you don't make a roll. Your sense of unease, blah, 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 blah. There's multiple fires. It's all a dream. I don't know what's going on here. All right. When was I in the... well, that's it. We're dead. We're done. I should have just left. 32. So if 32, I went to the ferry, 153. Let's see what would have happened. Because, I mean, my choices were so slim. Let's see. Okay, he can't take it out. You can go to the police station, you go to the hotel. But if you don't make a roll, that's it. You're done. Return to the roll. There's a scuffle. Somebody has ransacked the room. All right. Okay, that was unsatisfying. It really started strong, and then it just turned into they're going to try to murder. Cult is here trying to kill you, and I was really thinking it would be something different from that. So I'm not going to lie, I'm a little disappointed with that one. If I'd have made the stealth check, let's take a quick look. 146, got a creep. 82. No, we got to go before that. 107. 107. What if I'd have made my stealth check? Then would I have had the option of moving around? Go to 10. I could go investigate the Harris house, back to the hotel, or try to leave town. Leave town is a dead end. So it's a lot like Alone Against the Flame, in which basically power figures in town, like the police and whoever the hell Joshua is or what he wants, are um, are trying to get you, which is what I expected actually from this because I thought this was a deep one. But what I think is this is Bakrug and Sarnath is Sarnath from the Dreamlands. But I didn't find out anything. I went to talk to Amelia. It was one of my few choices, and then boom, I was arrested immediately without having a chance to do anything. That was disappointing. Uh, if I went back to the hotel room, I guess there was a scuffle or something was going on there. I might have been able to investigate, but one wrong choice in this, and you're just done within like 4 or 5 entries, and that's disappointing. I thought the auction was really good. It started really strong. The auction was very cool. I enjoyed that a lot, and the fact that I got the notebook. If the notebook had not been missing notes, I would have just left town. But then again, boom, can't leave town. Obviously, the green mist is making it impossible to cross the lake. I don't know why I couldn't have just struck out on foot. That would have been nice. But I might not have had the chance to do that because I've got to sneak out of. Even then, they didn't give me too many choices as far as like once I escape the police, then what? And I mean that's the same as in again Alone Against the Flames. The cops are after you, so you're kind of screwed. And this is one I can't play a second because I'm not going to go through the whole auction thing again. Um, that's it's a little disappointing, but that's okay. They can't all be winners. If my stealth had been higher, which I didn't even realize until I was reading through this thing. Oh yeah, I did. I used to be a criminal. I should have jacked my stealth up too. I should have put almost all my extra points into stealth instead of into firearms and that kind of stuff. I should have been stealthy. Should have upped my stealth all the way. Um, and maybe up to the credit rating 10 points too, 10 or 15 points. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, my theory, and see, one thing about these that is disappointing is at the end there should be a summary uh, of what is going on, what is actually happening, so that a keeper can actually sort of use this as a scenario. Go through this with your players. But if you as a keeper go through this with your players and you really have no idea what's going on, it's impossible to do. But the only thing we've got at the end is bios for the writers and the illustrators. I really like the illustrations in this, to be quite honest. Mr. M. Wayne Miller and Dorak Gosu. There are some really nice illustrations in this book. It's a beautiful book, actually. I love black and white books, though. I'm a sucker for a good black and white book, and I like a good line drawing more than I enjoy a color drawing. So, but I did like this, although it's just it's frustrating that you have to have high stealth for this. Your stealth has got to be really high. If I could have hidden in her house, if I could have hidden in the jail cell, or hidden as I crossed out of the jail cell, I might have stood a chance. But there's just no way. And again, a synopsis at the very end that tells what's going on and who the bad guys are. A one-page synopsis would probably do it. Here's what's going on in the town. Do not read this if you want to play it. It would be super helpful and super useful, in my opinion. It was a lot of fun at the beginning. The auction was so much fun. That was super cool. I still think you could have done the auction like a regular auction and just putting your credit rating up against who was bidding on each item. I should have. Yeah, and then the other, if I'd have just stayed in the cell for the night, you had to try to escape. You had to get out. If not, you were going to die. So, because that just went to another the end immediately. So they gunned me down. At least they couldn't sacrifice me to Bakrug or whatever was going on. But again, I don't know what's going on, which is super disappointing. So, offered up a sacrifice. You've died. You have died. Here's a lot of the endings here. You have survived this adventure. Banyu. Had to find Banyu, but I didn't know where he was, and I didn't even know he was important at the time. I mean, I kind of guessed in the back of my mind. Congratulations! You have survived Alone Against the Tide and on thwarting the malign force of the mythos. So, but it'd be cool to know what the connection is with um, Sarnath. I mean, obviously, Banya is from the Dreamlands, is my guess, and the sacrifices to Bakrug. I don't know how that connects to Sarnath. I never will, because unless I want to go through this thing a few times. And somewhere in here, Banya will like tell you what's going on, but there's no way to find that out as a keeper, so that you can run this as a scenario. I'd actually love to see all of these published in one book as scenarios. Alone Against as scenarios would be cool too, and they wouldn't have to be that long. Um, if this is a yearly thing, like it was in Alone Against the Flames, that's something you could play over and over and over until somebody beats it. And I beat it as a solitaire, so boom, yeah, good for me. But obviously, I died in this one, so I wouldn't mind taking this information and running it for some characters. We're going to call this 1920s or 1920. We'll call this 1920, and probably in the spring. He died not too long ago. The spring semester's over, or late spring. The spring semester's over, so I was sent to get his possessions. Um, that kind of thing. I don't know. But yeah, this was okay. But again, you hit a certain point. I hate that a die roll kills me. That I have no chance of escape. That kind of thing. I guess I should have burned 19 luck. No. I don't like burning luck. But this was interesting. And it started out really strong, and then all of a sudden it just turned into everybody's out to get me. The cop being out to get me was not cool. I didn't like that, but it happens. It happens. What is this thing glowing down here? Hold on a sec. What is this? Channel points. What do I care about channel points? So that was Alone Against the Tide. Another unfortunate death of a character. Put an X on his character sheet. Gunned down by cop cultist. So at least I died gunned down as opposed to being a sacrifice. Should have jacked my stealth up with his former criminal stuff. That would have helped. The locksmith being at 70 saved me. I think I rolled like a 50 something or a 40 something. Poor Dr. Woods. He's gone. He's dead. I don't think we'll play this one again. There's no way to really easily do so. Even if I skip the auction. Let's see what happens. If we skip the auction and get nothing because he died and they just grabbed his stuff. Where did the auction start? Was it 60? You approach the huddled group. Oh, those guys are criminals or something's wrong with them. 15, 3, 42? 42. That's Sanford beaming at me. Ha! I'm very happy you made friends with me. Yeah, and I made friends with that guy. Oh my god. To find somewhere to stay for the night, go to 26. Let's see. Let's quick take a peek. Alright, so we get a room, go to 9. Go to 1. Then we're back in our room, so we can still go looking around. But we're still going to have to deal with... We could play this again and just skip the auction. But it's not going to really feel right. And I don't know. It just feels like this is kind of a one-time thing. I mean, unless we show up the next day, which we're not, Banyu's not going to still be there, I don't think. He's the one who we need to really save our lives. So I think we're just leave this as is. We're not going to play this again. We could do that with Alone Against the Frost. Because potentially we could do it. Because we're just going off and exploring. I decided not to do it with Alone Against the Frost either. because we already used that on the first one with his sister came looking for him a year later. Alone Against the Dark, you're supposed to do it. The Lone Road, it doesn't make sense for anybody else to come down for that to happen to him, and there was not much to that. Same with Overdue. Alone Against the Flames, we finished. We actually survived. I think that might be the only one we survived. How many of these did we actually live? Alone Against the Wendigo, we had one dead and one in jail. Alone Against the Dark, we had 3 dead and 1 in jail the first time. The Thing in the Darkness, God, I don't remember what happened to us. I think we died. Yeah, we died. We got gunned down. Alone on Halloween, we had 2 dead, because I played it twice. Alone Against the Flames, success! My only success. Alone Against the Flames. Alone Against the Dark, again. No. Did she die? She went to jail too. 3 dead, 1 jail. That's Alone Against the Dark. Overdue. I think we died. We died in Overdue. Oh, Half Dead. No. Insane / Dreamlands. Okay. The Lonely Road, dead. Dead twice. Drowned once. Woke up. Died a second time. Alone Against the Frost. We became a Wendigo. And Alone Against the Tide, dead. Wow. We're not doing well. Those who were jailed, their reputations were destroyed. So 3 jailed. 1, 4, 5, 7, 10, 11, 12 dead, 1 insane, and 1 became a Wendigo. We're not doing great. We're not doing great here. We're not doing great at all. We'll see what happens next week. Next week I'm going to play the Dog Walker, and that's also my last one that I currently own of the solo Call of Cthulhu scenarios. We'll see how we do there. If the past is to be believed, we will probably die. But we're going to find out. We're going to play the Dog Walker next week. And I think for now, hey, we're going to raid somebody. We can raid. Oh, tell me Trooper's still playing. Yes! Trooper SJP is still playing. This is his charity stream, his 7th anniversary on oh my gosh, I'm tired. His 7th anniversary of Twitch. Boom. And he is playing Sandman, which I ordered today actually because I was like, okay, we're going to buy it. A very unusual game from the 1980s that did not do well. And but it looks super interesting. It looks super interesting, and I'm such a sucker. I want to get Time Master 2 one of these days. So we're gonna go ahead and raid Trooper. I want to thank everybody that came. Here we go. We can. Yeah, we can. So we're gonna. Let's do this. Let's do Alone Against the Tide. This has been Alone Against the Tide with Max Ryder, with me. Hope you all had fun. It's frustrating that I died, but that's okay. It's kind of to be expected. And we will raid Trooper SJP. I want to thank everybody who came by, or who's here, or who's watching this on YouTube afterwards. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will talk to y'all next time.